It's not
Only for 2 more months.
Time to get lit.
Yikes.
It's a good old so what do? Do I set the hook or how's this work?
Set the hook.
Will it like jerk my arm? Because I don't want to break this.
No, so
You don't
you
use
pull
the-
this out. They each have their own handle. Go up,
How do you pull it out? Oh, there you go.
lightly pull it out. You just let go of it. I'll show you guys how to play. Hit this button. And it's gonna go like that.
Creepy.
The music is great.
It sounds, it's like
It's gonna go green at some point, and then the last person to hit the button gets shocked.
You get shocked?
Yeah, but none of you guys even hit the button.
No, because
Yeah,
it's showing you
none of
explain-
us touched it, so all the controllers get shocked.
We were just like explaining it. We weren't like about to.
Yeah,
Can we have it in our hand? Or we have to leave it on the table?
No, we're gonna put it in our hand. I was just
Explain.
explaining
Yeah,
how the
yeah.
game played. So
So we just have to push this.
you just yes.
When it turns green.
When it turns green, if
So
you
it's
press
just
it
like-
early, you get
Shocked.
shocked.
So it's like reaction time. Can I crank this? Maybe do 11.
no.
It's at 4, which is the highest.
I was like, this goes up to 10? 'Cause I was,
That's pretty lit.
Wes like, that was a little shocking. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
No. Every time I play this game, I'm like, God dang it, I don't want to play it. But it's so much fun just to watch people's
So like I'm
faces.
just gonna like preemptively jump in and just.
Yeah.
Excuse my French if anything pops out.
Gary!
Face. I was like, who did it? And I turned just like. Oh, I found him.
Gary.
Get back in here, buddy.
Yeah.
Pop back on the horn.
What happens if I win like right away, like now?
Scared right now.
Yeah.
He's trying to hold his face
like-
and his eyes are like.
by Mordor.
Dude, this really scares me because I was playing before and I kicked everyone's butt. But you guys got shocked once. Yikes. Yeah, I beat Gary pretty okay, but
It's my 8 p.m.
your reaction time is quick. I'm getting old.
I'm slow.
Gary, that's 3 times in a row, brother.
You're out, brother. I'm sorry. Get back in here, brother.
He's like,
Switch hands if you need. Maybe not
No,
as
no,
fast
I
though.
got this.
Like,
Yeah, it's okay. Gary jumped so bad.
get back in here, brother.
let's go.
I think
I
it's
love
once,
pain.
it like this feels weird.
Yeah. That was shorter than last time. Or quicker, I should say. Not
Gary.
I'm going again. Ready?
5 times.
Web's joking. How was it?
Not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Gary's over
But
here,
Gary's like,
It wasn't me, boys!
like, yeah,
or that one time where he's like,
looks like he farted and he's waiting for somebody to notice.
Gary, if it's you again, I'm going lefty next game. He's like, I'm ready.
Webs!
Yeah!
Oh, it wasn't Gary, I'm fine.
You're doo-doo kid.
You lost 5 times in a row.
Dude, get good.
Gary! Jump
I
the
just-
gun!
Oh, you're so poo-poo.
You're trash, dude.
You're trash.
I'm going lefty now.
Oh, I suck. I can't even hold the thing lefty.
They're not really actually designed very well for your hand.
It's not that uncomfortable, though. Could be worse.
It's true. Could be better. Gary!
We need to get Meatball in here.
You hold it when you click it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just tap it.
Oh, I thought you were supposed to hold it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I mean, if I think you're supposed to.
Dude, I want to watch Meatball play this. I want to watch Meatball play this game so bad. Honestly, I just want to watch Meatball lose. Like, if Meatball could play Meatball, then I could see Meatball win and lose in the same
We need
round.
to find another meatball.
We need
to
clone.
go to Earth 2 with another
Reed
timeline.
calls him mini meatball.
That's true.
It's me. I promise.
Ow.
It's gonna be me.
This shocky hurts.
Man.
Dude, Noah gets a first every time.
Get out of my game. You're doo-doo.
You actually register
I'm
in
using my
first
left
every
hand.
single click.
This, can you see?
Yeah, if you watch the lights, the last light to go out, the person who still has their light shining is the one who gets it.
Man, so apparently I could catch every fish that nibbles. I just suck. I have enough reaction.
For
time.
real though, like your light goes out first every single game. And it's not even close.
And it's lefty.
Like
too.
I can. The thing is it's you win by such a significant margin that I can tell your light goes out first. Like it's not like, oh, I wonder whose light went out first. Maybe it was Noah. It's Noah's light goes out and then everyone else's goes out.
Do it to me.
Oh, I thought you were gonna play.
I thought it was actually gonna.
Feel the thunder.
Gary, I feel like you're.
Stab it.
There's like that like shock gum. I might be worse.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Bro.
Okay, hold him down. Stick all of them on him.
Hold him down. That's how they cure the gate back in the days.
two in the arm, 2 in each armpit.
One on the nipple.
Two behind the knees.
I really want to see. I wish we had more people here so we could like alternate people in.
At the fastest hand to the west, baby.
Just, well,
You didn't even like try. You're like,
I can't get it. I don't trust you guys anymore. People just keep.
you got it.
Ready?
It's okay. When we were playing, he lost like every time. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
So what's the game here?
So once it turns green, you have to click, and the last person to click.
And if
gets
you press
shot.
it early, you get shocked. Funny. That's
I would
cool.
check first to make sure they didn't have middle both before I went middle.
Oh, you gotta take the shock. You gotta take it.
Like you have to hold it.
Yeah. You just gotta press the
How many
button.
rounds are we playing?
Press the button. You gotta hold it. Okay.
This is sucking my How many rounds are we playing?
Uh,
Just keep playing. It's
you didn't even get shocked. What are you talking about? Did the game end? Did you just click his button?
Yeah.
God, don't be that guy.
Yeah, Gary.
Hey, it's not happened like 3 times.
Trying to fake.
We almost had.
Gary did.
You gotta take the shock.
Can you
You gotta
press
pick
it?
it up. You got to. It's part of the game. You gotta pick it up and then you just gotta press it with your hand.
Click it.
Yeah! There you go! Yeah! Let's go!
Build some muscle.
Webbs, get in here.
Bradley, you wanna hop in?
Webbs.
Fine.
Well, I was already.
Is it ready?
It's funny. definitely funny.
Voluntary.
Turn around, guys.
You gotta take the shot.
No.
You gotta take it, Gary.
I did. I did what you did.
Bradley, you gonna hop in? Carly, you in?
Oh, are you doing both of them?
Remember, I have a fear of being shocked.
It's not
Okay,
bad.
3, 2.
Till, like, the
wait,
point
wait,
that
wait,
when you
wait.
put
Let
down
Jordan
slides
play.
when I
Let
was
Jordan
younger.
play.
Like
I'm not doing
static electricity
I have to
shock
go
too?
share.
Oh, that's rough. Do you wear socks inside?
No,
Smart.
especially if I'm on carpet.
Oh, it goes both hands. Oh, in like a closed circuit.
You guys have it on normal.
Okay, can you guys see?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Positive?
Yes.
Are you lying to me?
No.
Here's the real question. This is important. How many fingers am I holding up?
I don't know.
Huh?
I'm supposed to know.
Okay. I think we're good. Okay. Bradley, I need your help, your assistance.
So are you gonna tell like what it like? It's
Simon, you grab your door.
nothing. Yeah, I'm telling us nothing. No. Not anything. I'm not telling you anything. Oh man.
We don't even know what you're taste testing.
Okay.
Other than blindfolds. It's from the garbage.
Oh. Yummy.
Social distancing, that's for sure. They're supposed to keep 6 feet.
What? Oh, that way. What are you doing? Oh, that way. Oh, social distancing. Wait. Social distancing.
Trash can.
Okay.
Move over.
Sorry, yeah, you guys gotta separate.
That's good, that's good. Hey.
Can I drink of water?
You're down, notes down, water down. I appreciate the social distance. Landed up for
Not that far.
Is that upside down? It's upside down.
Oh, it's up, dog?
What's up, dog? Not much.
Got him. Okay, so Bradley, we need that.
I will need this knife.
Yes, sir.
And we will get.
Okay.
Garbage flavored celery. Okay.
Okay. Here we go. You guys can't say anything, but I'm gonna let you come up here. This is gonna be the order we do them in. So you just come up in view, so then you know, but you gotta stay distanced.
One at
Okay.
a time, single file.
Gary, go through first. Then we'll go Fishers, Bradley, then Grady, then Webbs, Carolee, and then the Wolves. That's the order. Don't say it out loud.
What do you mean?
Hey, you're the
Okay.
paper man. Your Zoom meeting. I know.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
It's good. We're gonna go from this side that way.
Which side of that way?
You don't need to see because you're there.
I don't think it's that bad.
Jared, I'll have a question for you.
Excuse me, Mr. Amish.
I have a question. Jordan,
Yep.
how do we do?
There. You guys will be tasting some food, and you'll be telling us the flavor that you think it is.
Like what?
Okay.
What is it? Like
You'll
is
be
it just
Yeah,
anything?
it's food, and you'll be saying what flavor the food is.
okay. Okay.
Delicious food.
Simon, I need some of those. Just beware. They're a little. They like to. Yeah, squirrel a little bit. Can you give some to Bradley? There's a garbage can, Jeremiah, to your left. Isabel to your right. Yeah. See, that's what I was talking about.
Exactly.
Okay, we're gonna have it. We're gonna put the spoon up to your mouth. We'll count down. 3, 2, 1, and then you guys are just gonna eat, and then you're gonna try to guess the flavor. This is a combination of 2 flavors, so you're gonna get 2 guesses, and you have to lock in your answers. So don't start saying because you're gonna help the other person out. Winner gets.
Wait, do we have to write it down, or how do they do it?
Winner gets. You're just gonna scoop a little bit like this.
Yeah, but I'm saying how do they sit? Do they whisper it to us?
No. I'm gonna count down, and then they're gonna guess. Isabel, yes.
Oh, out loud.
Do you have to take the whole spoonful?
No, you just gotta taste it. But the better taste you get, the better. Okay, ready?
This much?
No.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, we're gonna give it to you guys in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hold up. You got your guess, Jeremiah? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Applesauce? Applesauce and like cinnamon.
Okay, the first flavor
You gotta take.
was
you know.
pear pineapple.
What?
So no points awarded.
Ah, Man.
Anybody else want this?
that tastes good.
Heck no.
She didn't even eat it. She just like.
Yeah, it tastes like applesauce.
Garrett, you actually want this?
He wants to try it though.
Oh, the aftertaste
like
is disgusting.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Oh, the aftertaste. Oh,
hey, you see that another thing work?
Yeah.
that's
Okay, next one. Wipe your spoon off. Okay.
It's overall 10 million.
I think you gotta open your mouth. I think that's part of it. Why are we taking 2 if we're doing a?
Because we gotta keep them, COVID,
Social distancing.
Okay.
I've already, okay, let me put it this way. This spoon has already been in his mouth. If I dunk it in that one and you dunk your spoon that's been in her mouth in that one, that's probably not sanitary considering we're in a global pandemic.
Okay.
Here's the thing, on a normal youth night, I get Gary up here and I get Meatball and they eat it off the same spoon probably. But we're kind of in a pandemic at the moment.
Only kind of.
Kind of. Yeah, every time this thing
Okay, you gotta take it this time, alright? I'll take less, but like you still gotta open.
Okay, ready?
You have to open your mouth, alright?
You gotta make sure you taste all of it. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, that's what I
oh.
What? You guys got some
thought.
guesses?
Soak it up, alright? I know.
Oh!
Oh,
Yuck.
disgusting.
Yuck. I got all in my hands. Simon, I need more.
Ugh.
I am a wolf.
Okay, what is it?
Okay, you guys got a guess? 3. This is only one flavor. Okay? One flavor. 3, 2, 1. Go.
Baby food.
What?
Baby food.
What? It all is baby food.
She said
We're
green.
feeding you baby food.
This is all.
It's all baby food. Baby food
It
flavor.
is?
Yeah.
What? Oh,
She said
Potatoes.
green beans. He said potatoes.
Okay. It's actually pumpkin food.
what?
If I had
You guys ever
potato-
said this was all baby food?
Well, that's.
Well, we
part
said
of
it was food.
Now we're saying it's baby food. Sorry.
Like, it's disgusting.
Declared me not essential.
With what?
That was easily the easiest one.
Oh, it tastes like
How did I go to Willie's? Okay, so right now, you guys are each at
0.
0. This one has 2 flavors, so you can score 2 points. Okay. Okay, who thinks Jeremiah's going to win? Who thinks Isabel's going to win?
Actually, I don't.
Noah voted for both sides.
Okay, so it's like 4-4. Pretty much. No one's gonna get any of the flavors. Alright, that salad was the easiest. Okay.
Oh,
I don't like
Part of
how
an
they-
I still have the aftertaste of the other one.
Yeah, we have a water switch here.
Celery sticks to clean my palate? Okay, you guys ready?
Sorry guys.
Okay.
Is it gross? Is this one gross?
Yeah, they're
I
all
don't-
gross.
They're baby food. I don't know. You thought the first one was good?
Well, yeah, the first one was good because it was like applesauce kind of.
Okay, you ready? Shh. Playing the game. 3, 2, 1.
Open your mouth.
Ooh,
That's good
I
stuff,
have
isn't it?
I have an idea.
Okay, 2 flavors, I think, right?
Okay, yeah, it's 2.
There's 2.
Okay, you guys ready?
I know where you're getting on one.
Raise your hand when you got a guess. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Cranberry and apple. Cranberry and apple.
He got
You got half. It was apple and prune. So you guys will be able.
banana? She said strawberry banana.
You guys will be able to have good poops now.
Oh my
Poops keep
goodness,
right
are
here.
you? Oh no.
What do you mean? Good.
I don't. Yeah, it was good, but I don't want like prunes in my food.
You don't want to
I don't want like.
You don't want to
Yeah.
get a prune?
I want clucks.
Ooh, this one actually didn't shoot out at me. Oh, this one's like yellowy.
All the aftertaste,
this one didn't.
all of them is disgusting.
I believe it. I would believe it, sir.
Wait, where's the flavors container thing? What is it?
I know what it is.
You throw it away? Okay.
Wait, you tried it before?
No. No. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Gross.
It's Isabel with that. You guys got some guesses? Raise your hand when you got a guess. You want to take these to the kitchen?
What's it called?
Okay, Isabel's got a guess. You ready, Jeremiah?
Hold on.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Fish.
It was chicken noodle soup.
Oh.
I was sitting there and I was really at that point where I was like, I don't know if I want to. I felt like God told me to speak this, and I got the idea from a video clip I saw, because it was already kind of on my mind, and then I saw this clip and I was like, oh, that brings it all around. But the video clip has some not choice language, but I think it has a lot of impact. So I'm gonna ask that you excuse the language, and we're still gonna play the clip. I believe that you guys hear the same language at school. It's not gonna be any different than if you hear it here, because it is real life and that's how people are. But I'll give you just a little bit of background. So there's a TV series where a group of guys do a bunch of stupid things. They make movies. I'm trying not to say their name outright because it's not a good word. But it would be the same word that donkey could be used for, if you know what I'm talking about. It includes Johnny Knoxville and Steve-O and Bam Margera and Ryan Dunn. If you guys know who those people are. The guy we're going to be focusing on today is Steve-O, and if you guys watch any of those videos, because they are pretty funny, it's mildly inappropriate sometimes, but pretty funny. Steve-O is probably the craziest guy in the bunch. He always has been, probably always will be, because he's kind of nuts. But one of the reasons Steve-O is kind of nuts is because Steve-O has been addicted to drugs for years, and that's just, he doesn't have a whole lot of inhibition stopping him. But somebody sat down with him for an interview and asked him some questions. And so Noah, we're only going to play like the first 4 minutes of that clip, 3 or 4 minutes of that clip. But I really want you guys to take a second and just listen to this, because it is genuine and honest how this guy feels and like what he went through. And I can't put the words that he puts to it the way that he does. So I'll let you guys watch it. Excuse the language, I'm sorry. But I have a feeling you guys have heard much worse. So Noah, let her rip. There's a really, really interesting note, because I think this is something we don't go over very often, because it's the part of the Bible that we don't really like. The part where we acknowledge that we have problems. And I was actually going to have Simon come up here. And Simon's going to help me today. Simon's going to draw. Because Simon's a much better drawer than me. I sat today and I was thinking about what I was going to have you draw. And I decided that I was going to have you draw a river. If you know how good Simon is at drawing, you'll understand that we're not going to get like a couple of squiggly lines. But I'm just going to let him draw as we go a little bit into this. Steve-O says something in the interview that I just like can't look past. It's when he sits there and he acknowledges that he says, the thing that made me the best candidate is that I realized I couldn't manage it. Is that he got to a place in his own life where he was like, I know that I can't find middle ground. You guys ever had something in your life where you're like, I can do this and I can do this, and it's okay? Like, I can be in sports and get good grades in school, They're not two different, separate deals. But there are things that do absolutely overlap and do take up your time. Like you guys would probably have a really hard time being a full-time employee and a full-time student at your high school if you actually had classes in person. That'd be kind of impossible because that's when they want you to work. The thing is there's a lot of deals where it's like you can't manage both. You have to choose. You have to choose which one is more important. What are some other things we can have Simon draw? Anybody got anything? Just shout them out. Whatever you got.
A turtle.
Anybody else got anything? Simon's good at drawing. What are some other things? Just yell them out. Yell them out.
Penguin.
Yeah, those are my rulers.
I don't have to draw anything.
Eagle. Yeah.
Anything you want. What do you want him to draw?
Fortnite.
Pegasus. Symbol.
You hear all that, Simon?
Yep.
If you guys think of something that you want Simon to draw, just yell it out. He's going to keep.
Orangutan.
Jordan Smith.
Him.
Gorilla.
Himself.
Pomegranate. Pickle Rick. I'm Pickle Rick.
Okay. So, the thing I wanted to talk about today is I actually wanted to go to the story in Matthew 9:20 through 22. So if you guys want to turn there with me,
What was that?
Matthew 9:20 through 22. If you don't have the Bible app, download it. If you don't have the Bible app right now and you can't download it, there are Bibles in the chairs. Go and grab one. Bible. Pull it up on your phone.
A bat.
Look up. I was going to say look at your neighbors, but we're social distancing. Okay.
What is it?
Matthew 9:20 through 22.
James.
What is it?
Matthew 9:20 through 22.
Okay, just wait. Okay, what is it now?
Matthew 9:20 through 22. Okay, so now that we're all there, this is a story you guys may have heard before, but bear with me. Just then a woman who'd been subject to bleeding for 12 years came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak. She said to herself, "If I only touch his cloak, I will be healed." Jesus turned and saw her, "Take heart," and said, "Take heart, daughter, your faith has healed you." And the woman was healed at that moment. It's so interesting to me that we have stories like this, and we can keep going. We can take stories like Simon Peter, and Andrew, and Matthew, and you have the story of the man who's demon-possessed, and you have all these people who, when they came to Jesus, they were willing to leave behind anything they had to get there. Simon Peter and his brother Andrew walked away from their family, walked away from their business, walked away from their source of money, any security they had to follow Christ. Matthew walked away from being a tax collector, which means that probably the entire Jewish community did not like him a whole lot at that point. He walked away basically never to be a tax collector again. You have the man who's demon-possessed run and kneel before Jesus and just be like, "You're the Son of God, what can I do?" And Jesus casts the demons out of him. The man's like, "Please let me follow you." And he says, "No, I want you to go back and I want you to tell people what God has done for you." We have all these stories of all these people who have all these things happen to them, and the one common theme is that they all acknowledged that where they were at was not worth staying. That wherever they were, there was something wrong with it. Yeah, they survived, but they weren't where they're supposed to be. And if we keep going, we go to Luke 17:33, if you're following along. Luke 17:33. It says this: "Whoever tries to keep their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life will preserve it." The whole message of the gospel is one that says, when I hold on to things and I cling to them, they will be stripped from me. But when I choose to give them, I receive them. And so we have this wonderful idea in our head that we can somehow find common ground, where we can somehow manage both living for God and not living for God. I think that some of you guys maybe kind of get that, because you know, I think everyone kind of gets it, but I think that for some of the older people in here, like me and Jenny, it's like you've gone through the process. How many times have you had to sit down and tell yourself that I have to let it go?
At least 2.
No, it's a serious question. How many times do you think you've had to sit down in a room and say, I'm choosing this thing over God and I have to give it up? How many times? Probably more than you can count. Same here. The thing I love about God is that it is a free thing. It is, you know, we get the gift of God for free, but living for Christ costs us everything. And it's such a wonderful picture, kind of like this picture. I told you to dry river. What happened to my river?
Fuck, man.
Okay.
Yankee with no brim.
The thing is I told you to draw a river. Why did you listen to them?
Fuck, man.
I think in life we actually do know what we're supposed to do a lot of the time. It's an interesting thing. We actually do know what God told us to do. We actually do know where we're supposed to go. We actually do know what God put in front of us, but we don't want to acknowledge what it is, and we choose to listen to other voices. And our picture of a river ends up looking like Fat Night. Oh, I got 2 pages. So Simon, I want you to draw me a river.
That's like 3. No.
I got 2. I want you to draw me a river, Simon.
Okay.
You guys are welcome to tell him what to draw.
Fortnite.
Minecraft.
Brim with no Yankee.
See, we live our life with the idea that we can somehow find an even ground between what we want to do and what God wants to do. But I guess this is my experience, and maybe for some of you who have been with God a little longer, you've acknowledged that maybe it wasn't me and God coming together for something, it was me aligning with God for something. And that sounds like I'm losing. Has everyone heard this statement? Life isn't fair? About 100 times. I imagine the Wolves have heard it about 1,000,000. If you guys do know, the Wolves help out here all the time, and every once in a while they like to give me a little back on it. They'd be like, "Well, I'm here all the time, I'm here more than you, and I don't get paid, blah blah blah," and they just give me a bunch of flack, and I appreciate it. As like one of the only students who gives me a bunch of flack is Noah, and it's just like we're good enough friends where he doesn't look at me as a pastor and is like, "Well, I better not say that because I'm gonna, as a pastor or anything like that." So he just jokes with me, but there's that part where it's like life isn't fair, and this is my favorite part. It's good that it's not. It's good that it's not fair, because fair doesn't. Who wants it to be fair? I'll say that. I don't want it to be fair. Does anyone want life to be fair? Anybody? And you can justify your position. Do you want life to be fair? And why?
Fair is like, you know what I'm saying?
Do you want life to be fair?
In what way? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Just fair. Fair in general.
I'm just saying that if in my life, if I had been given not necessarily a better hand, but if the instances that put me through pain and put me through suffering didn't occur, then I wouldn't be lying.
Is that a statement for fairness or against fairness?
Against fairness.
Okay.
Yes, I would add to that. I'd say the greatest people and probably the most messed up people definitely are born out of just dramatic events and something terrible happened to them, and
It's the path for them is very similar, but they end up in different places. I know what you're talking about. But this is the part that always gets to me, is because you have a lot of people who harp on what is fair and what is true and what is good. But in actuality, this is what I'll acknowledge. I do have to give God all that I am. But in return, I get all that He is. Do you guys understand how unfair that is and how great of a trade that is? Like, you'd be hearing about that on the NFL, ESPN network for years. Like, I don't know if you guys are this old, but the Vikings traded for Herschel Walker back in the 90s. And because of it, the Cowboys won 3 Super Bowl titles because we were idiots. True. And they still talk about that trade to this day. Now, what happens if we sat here and acknowledged, you sin, and you sin, and you sin, and I sin? And what's the punishment for sin? Death. Not only death, separation from God, and that we'll spend eternity in hell. The unfairness comes in when Jesus says, I will trade you your sin, I'll trade you your death, I'll trade you your eternity in hell for joy, peace, love, blessing, eternity in heaven with God. All you have to do is say that you're willing to give up what you have. That sounds like the most unfair trade in my life. Yeah, I have to give up some things I like, because there are things that I like. But I have to acknowledge that what He has for me is so much better than what I have. And I think we have 2 stories to tell. We have the story in which we acknowledge that God is God and we give Him all that He's deserving. And we are willing to get out of our own situation. Or we fall on the other side, which is Matthew 19, 21 through 22. Jesus is talking to the rich young ruler, and Jesus answered, He says, if you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions, give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, then come follow me. When the young man heard this, he went away sad because he had great wealth, because he knew he wasn't willing to give up what he had. He knew that he wasn't willing to give up what he had worked for, that he had got, because he said, the treasures that I have here are not worth what I'll get in eternity. And so we get back to this place where it's, if you're here and you're like, I like my life, I have a good life, I don't need change, I don't need anything, then this message isn't for you. But I'll tell you this, because it came from a personal place. If I didn't need God, I wouldn't be here. I'll say that wholeheartedly. If I didn't need God, I wouldn't be here. I believe I need God as much today as the day I became a Christian. I believe that it got to a point in my life where I had to say that it was my hopelessness that made me seek after God, because I acknowledged that where I was at in life was not where I wanted to be. And maybe you're there with me. Maybe it doesn't matter what you do, because you can never, ever fill the void in your life. Because you go to bed at night, no matter how wonderful your day was, who you spent your day with, what you were doing, you go to bed at night and you lay in your bed, and you still feel empty on the inside. There's still something missing in your soul. Because you tried to fill in and you tried to manage. But the thing you needed to recover, the thing you needed to change paths, was that you needed to acknowledge that what you had was not what you wanted, and you needed to actively seek after something else. And that means everything you were, because if you believe you can manage it, then you're not a candidate. In John 3:30 it says this: He must become greater, and I must become less. I remember when I was a little kid, I had a baseball glove. I love baseball. I always have. It's always been one of my favorite sports to play. It's so chill and like fun. I had this glove when I was a little kid, and every single year it would get more and more beat up. But if you know anything about a baseball glove, is that it's not good until it gets worked in. So the longer you have it, the more comfortable you are with it, the more memories you have with it, the more time, and it becomes even more formed to your hand. It becomes easier to use. And so I had this glove. I'd used it for years, and it was perfect, just the way I wanted. And then all of a sudden, it got to the point where it started to get damaged. You'd throw a ball, and it would go through the seams. God, damaged! That'll shout out to all the Mexico trip people.
Amen.
And so it just kept on getting more damaged. It was worn, and my finger would have holes in the glove. And eventually, it got to the point where I came home one day, and I wanted to play baseball with my dad. We were going to go play catch in the yard. And I went looking for my glove, and I couldn't find it. And as I'm looking around, I'm like, where did it go? Where did it go? And my mom says, oh, I threw it out. And I would be lying if I didn't tell you I started crying because I lost my baseball glove. And I was just so upset, and I threw a tantrum because I'm a little kid at the time. It's like, you lose your baseball glove, that's your life. And I was so upset, and I was so angry, and I was so mad, and I didn't understand. And the next day, we went to the store, and we bought a new glove. A brand new glove that I got to pick out that looked cool, because that's important with gloves. Not that they actually function, but that they look cool. Because that's what's really important. Especially as an elementary school kid. And so I got a new glove, and it, all of a sudden in that moment, it was like I completely forgot about the glove that I lost. Because the one that I had was so much better. It was like, I lost my glove. Dang it, I like that glove, but this one's cool, bro. Not only is this glove is so good that I'm actually going to hit more home runs now that I have this glove. It's going to help me on the offensive side of the ball, not only the defensive, because it's so good. This glove, look at it. I'm cooler holding this glove. And so, the thing is sometimes we don't acknowledge what we miss out on because we have all these things in our life that we want to hold on to. And you got things you want to hold on to, that's fine. But I do know people walked in here with things they don't want to hold on to. And I only know one thing in my life that's ever helped me get free of anything, and that's God. Whether that's, depression, whether that's, just being unhappy, not having peace in your life, not having joy, worrying, having anxiety. Maybe you're a Packers fan and you really need Jesus. I don't know, okay? But there are people out there who truly need something. And the call of the gospel is not that we give some of us, it's that we give all of us. Because we're trying to get all of God. And so I must become less so he may become greater. It's a whole thing. I'm stepping in to something that I get to be new. And to be honest, I'm going to tell you this. You're going to lose stuff. And if you're not okay with that, then this isn't for you. But like I said earlier, you understand the trade that you're making. Your sin, your death, maybe some of your talents. But I've come to this conclusion over years and years. The greatest thing I can do falls short of the least that God can do. God in his absolute worst thing, which he doesn't have weaknesses, but God in his lowest form is still greater than my greatest. Because he's God. Because he's better than me. It's how it works. And so we're actually going to close up. Jenny, I'm going to turn on music. Don't let it play, please. Oh, yes.
You see what it looks like?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a good river. It's actually, I told Simon that my rule is I told him today that he wasn't allowed to erase. No matter what he did, he wasn't allowed to erase. And he said, okay, I'll do it in Sharpie. And the reason I had him do that is because I didn't want him to erase things. I didn't want him to say that something was wrong with the picture that he made. Because sometimes I feel like we think that. Because in this picture, what do you guys see? What do you see in this picture?
Anybody back here?
The thing is this is a picture of a river. Can't you see it? Can't you see it? It's a picture of a river. And it has its own problems. You're welcome to come up and see this later. It's a river. That's what Simon drew. That's what he was told to draw. And this picture, Simon, I imagine you messed up some lines. It's not all perfect. You guys know what this picture is? Can you tell me what's in that picture?
I see mountains and trees, not so much a river.
Mountains, trees, and a river.
Frick you.
Language in such a holy place.
The thing is I wanted everyone to see that even in life, when we actually listen to God and we do make mistakes, we do have problems. It may not look exactly the way it was supposed to. We still recognize what we were going after. We still have something that we're pursuing. God still has a plan, even if we fall short. And so in the middle of all of this, I wanted to pose the only question I wanted to pose. If everyone wants to bow your heads and close your eyes, be respectful of other people in the room. That's my only ask, or my only request. I have this question. Is what you have worth dying for? Is what you have worth dying for? Whatever you hold dear, is it worth dying for? Video games and sports and school, and is it worth dying for? Is it worth everything to you? Or is there some part of you that acknowledges that something's missing? Some part of you needs God. Some part of you needs something else because you've tried to fill the void with everything else. In this moment and in this time, I'll tell you this straightforward. I would die for Jesus Christ right now. In this moment, if somebody were to take me, I would go. Because he is worth dying for. He's worth living for. He's worth dying for. He's worth every part of who I am. And I am willing to give everything I am for that cause. And so, I pose this question. Are you willing to trade with him? Are you willing to trade all that you have for all that he is? Are you willing to trade your shame and guilt for his kingdom and love? For his goodness and his peace? Are you willing to trade your anxiety and maybe your talents, maybe some of the things you enjoy? Are you willing to trade? Because the gospel will cost you everything. I believe that. But I'm not okay living for anything that doesn't cost me nothing. I live for things that cost me everything because that's something that's valuable. So if you're in here and you would say, I want to trade with God. There is something missing in my life. I don't know what it is, but you say it's Jesus. That's me. I want to trade. I want to give up all that I am to receive all that he is. I want to receive all the good things, and I'll give up all that I have. If that's you, I want you to raise your hand on the count of 3. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your head bowed. Nobody looking around. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 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 yes. You guys can put your hands down. I'm going to pray. You guys will just pray along with me. You don't have to, you guys can say it in your head. But I really just want to pray this. God, today we fall short. We have fallen short since the beginning of time. I have sinned. We have sinned. God, we deserve death. God, what we thought disqualified us from getting to you is the thing that makes us the best candidate. Today we acknowledge that we do have problems. Today we do acknowledge that we do sin. And today we acknowledge that we need you. God, that every part of us is given over to you. And that we trust in your name, and we move closer to you, even if it's just by a bit. God, that we want to see your kingdom come. We want to see all that you are. We want to see the good things in life fill us, because, God, everything we've tried has fallen short. And today we give you all that we are, because we want to see what you have. That you can fill the void that nothing else can fill. God, I pray today that any sin that's on us, you forgive us. That you come and fill our heart. God, that you become our Savior. And that you walk with us every single day. In Jesus' name, amen.